Hi there everyone, nubkeks here, and in today's video I'm going to be walking you through all three of my Hydra runs for this week, week 1 of Rotation 2, where I got the maximum chests for normal and for hard difficulty. So these are the three teams I used, and I'll just talk you through why I put these champions together, what they're all bringing, and yeah, you can see how my teams have done. And you can think about making teams like this for yourself, or if you have suggestions to make them better, I would love to hear that as well. That'd be pretty great too. But yes, okay, let's dive in though. This is my first run that I did. This is on hard difficulty. So in the lead, they're kind of hard to see because they're in perfect veil, but we have Mortu Macabre in the lead. He has an AI preset to always use his block buffs AoE. As his first priority. He also brings a 24% speed lead in all battles, which is the best. All battles speed lead, so he's helping my team run a bit faster. He's doing block buffs AoE. One of the weaknesses is that the Head of Wrath is blue affinity, so Mortu gets a bit affinity screwed right there. He's not going to consistently land his block buffs on that head. And he does some okay damage, so yeah, he's doing a couple of jobs there. Speed aura, block buffs. He just got eaten as well. Right beside him here, this is Godseeker Aniri. She is in there to heal, keep us alive. Her A2 is an AoE that reduces the duration of enemy buffs by 1 turn. So she's helping make up for any lack of block buff coverage. She also extends our buffs by 1 turn, which is a good combo with Tatura Rhymehide, the last fusion we had. I'll talk about him in a second. Yeah, she also brings a revive. She's doing some healing, helping us stay alive, and that's kind of her job in there. She does some decent damage as well. To the right of her is Lydia. Lydia, obviously from the end of Faction Wars, she's bringing us AoE decrease defense, AoE weaken, and AoE boost speed for us. She also brings a bit of a block buff on her A3 as well. So she's bringing us some really important roles there, massively upping our damage with decreased defense and weaken, and also increased speed. They're the main things that she's doing, so multiple jobs. Tatura Rhymehide, let's talk about him next. He's over here. Tatura Rhymehide, he is in there. He is again fulfilling several different roles, right? Several different roles. So he has an AoE attack, which does decent okay damage, and it gives us perfect veil, right? Which is gonna help us avoid the true fears from that fear head. So it's gonna keep us in the game and stop us missing our turns quite as often. His A2 then provides increased defense and block debuff, so that's going to protect us from the Head of Blight, the poison head. And then his A1 places decreased accuracy, which again mitigates some of what the poison head is doing, mitigates what some of the other heads are doing. If we ever land it on Head of Mischief, it's great, because that can make Head of Mischief miss some turn meter steal and buff steals and stuff like that, which is super good. On the far left, we have Akoth. Check out my Akoth guide if you want to see how I build Akoth, right? But Akoth is in there for AoE HP burn. He also provides a shield for the team, helping us stay alive. His A1 places decreased critical rate, which is kind of nice, again, to help us stay alive when he puts that in Head of Wrath, like he just did. Thanks, Akoth. The issue with Akoth, unfortunately, is that he's bad affinity this week. Yeah, you've got a couple of the heads are force affinity, and he's magic affinity, so he really struggles to consistently place that HP burn, which is definitely a downside. But unfortunately for me, he's actually my best. In fact, my only AoE HP burner that's built. I have Mordecai in the vault. I might look to build out Mordecai next time. But yeah, that's what he's doing. And then the final champion we have in is Aox. Aox is over here. Aox is bringing AoE decrease attack. He places AoE decrease attack, which is fantastic, which means that, hey, if Poison Cloud goes out or something like that, he can still place it on the enemies. He can still get it on Head of Mischief, all the rest. He also brings a nice heal on his A2 that scales based off the number of debuffs on the enemy team. So he doesn't do any damage, but he's helping us stay alive with healing and with decreasing attack. One of the downsides with him as well is that it can be a little bit random sometimes, or if the Head of Decay who's in here comes in and cleanses off the debuffs, it can get a bit rough, where he's actually not going to do anything much. He's not going to help much. He's not going to heal much. He does require good debuffs on the enemy team to really work. So it's those sort of considerations which you do have to start paying attention to. I actually took over some manual control for a little bit there. I was thinking it was looking a bit sketchy. So I would do some manual control to try guide us through this bit. It looks pretty fine now, but yeah, that is the team. That's how it works. I would say the issue with this team, our damage is a little bit dodgy. Okay, we don't have any max HP damage, and our HP burn is unreliable, unfortunately, because it's magic affinity based. And yeah, our block buffs also has some affinity issues. It can't consistently get block buffs on champions that are on the Hydra heads, which are blue affinity, because Mortu is a green affinity champion. So yeah, they're one of the main issues. We also don't have an AoE decrease speed, which really sucks. I'd love an AoE decrease speed to slow these Hydra heads down and get more of our turns in. And yeah, there's also some randomness. Like Aox, I forgot to mention, Aox extends debuffs when he's hit, but it is random. So yeah, there's quite a lot of randomness in this particular run. Do the HP burns land? Does Aox extend things in a good way? Are you able to kill the heads when they eat your person? Will it get eaten by a reasonable person? All that sort of stuff. But anyway, let me let the rest of this run out, and then I'll jump back with run number 2. Okay, so there we go. 16 million actually on the dot on hard difficulty there with this particular team. So you can see Mortu, decent damage, not too bad. Lydia actually doing more damage than Mortu Macabre, which is kind of hilarious, and bringing really good buffs. Tataru doing solid damage at 2 million. Aox, you can see Aox definitely lacking on the damage, but he is helping our team stay alive hugely with that decreased attack and extending debuffs. Godseeker, not bad on the damage, and you can see her and Aox both providing plenty of healing. And then Akoth, really being the big damage dealer for the team despite being poor affinity. So yeah, not too bad. Not a 1 key on hard difficulty. Maybe if you got super lucky and Head of Decay didn't show up. Head of Decay, the one that cleanses and speed boosts his team, he's the worst. Oh my god, I hate that head so much. He ruins everything. Like, he just completely screws you. Maybe if he didn't show up, you could get lucky and 1 key it. You'd have to just run it over and over again. But yeah, that's the best I was able to do with this team. Let me know if you have any suggestions, any accessible champions you could slot in that would do better. And let's hop into the second run. All right, here we are for run number 2. This is going into normal difficulty, Hydra. This team is maybe one of the weaker, it obviously is the weakest team I ran this week. This is my normal difficulty team, and I think there's definitely room to optimize this. I actually saw 1 or 2 ideas I could have done instead. But yeah, so as you can see, let's go through the champions, then let me talk about what the weaknesses are. I think we need to up the speed again. Hang on, let me up the speed. Otherwise we'll be, yeah, there we go. Up the speed again. I need to learn the keyboard shortcut for that. But in the lead, we actually have Ninja, who has no speed aura. The reason we're running him in the lead is because Shamael is still bugged, Inquisitor Shamael. And whenever someone gets feared, it removes the fear and actually turn meter boosts the lead champion. So I have the turn meter boost always going into Ninja, to hopefully scale him up with his escalation passive to start doing good damage. Ninja was my MVP last rotation. Unfortunately, this rotation, he is blue affinity. And as you can see from the starting heads, 2 of them are red. So he actually gets a ton of weak hits, doesn't place his HP burns, doesn't get good crit damage, all the rest. So he's quite inconsistent. But hey, there you go. That's what I was trying with this run. On the far right-hand side, we have Inquisitor Shamael. He obviously removes True Fear whenever it's placed, which means we don't need a Perfect Veil champion to deal with the Fear Head. Also, another thing he does, which is nice, as you can see here, as I was checking my battery level on my phone where I recorded this at the time, he also counterattacks whenever a debuff is placed, which is kind of cool. It actually makes him kill the Poison Head really fast, because we don't have any block debuffs on this team. So that was kind of an interesting thing. Between Ninja and Shamael, we have Rian the Conjurer. He's in there for AoE weaken and also for providing a res. I don't know if he was actually super needed on this team. I actually think, in hindsight, looking at it, this would have been much better to bring Arbiter in. Or maybe even a Brogany in would have been a lot better. Arbiter would have brought increased attack, and we have a lot of attack-based champions, and she would have sped our team up some more as well with the turn meter boost. She would have been better, but oh well. This one keyed normal, so I didn't really mind. I just ran it once and it worked, and I was like, okay, I'm done. Great. Yeah, okay. On the left then, beside Ninja, who just took a turn, is Tomb Lord. So Tomb Lord is in. He is his purpose is AoE decreased defense and AoE weaken. He also does apply decreased speed on his A1, and he does some poisons on his A2. Most of these heads are immune to poison. You can see it does actually go on the head corpses, though. But most of them are immune to poison. But he's mostly just in there for that decreased attack and decreased defense. I actually have very few decreased attack champions on my account. It's just something I never really bothered to develop that much. I was trying to run Iron Brago, but my Iron Brago is actually a little bit slow. He needs a regear, and he's also not booked. And one of the issues I ran into with Iron Brago is that to place his decreased attack, he needs to have increased defense buff on him. And I was finding that would oftentimes get stolen by the bloody Head of Mischief. So he wasn't actually placing decreased attack. So, I was having some issues there. Tomb Lord is just in there to provide those buffs. To the left of Tomb Lord, we have Norog. He's a legendary who provides us with AoE block buffs. Again, he has a lot of affinity issues. Like right now, for instance, we're fighting 3 Force affinity heads, and Norog is magic affinity, so there's a ton of issues right there. But he's the only other built block buffs champion I had. And he also does give you some damage reduction with his passive, which is kind of nice. But yeah, like Umbral Enchantress would be way better, but I don't have her built out, I'm afraid. Then on the left, we brought in Gala Longbraids as our healer and our reviver. Now, her revive does revive 2 people at once, but it's not the best revive. And her healing, she gives you a shield and then a continuous heal buff. One of the issues I was running into a bit with Gala was that, again, the Head of Mischief, because we don't have decreased speed on this team, we don't have increased speed either, so we're somewhat at the mercy of these Hydra head gods. This team would never work on hard, you'd be destroyed. But yeah, Gala's buffs could be stolen, and it would I found that it was quite a struggle, you can see, to actually top people's health bars up. So that's where I feel like Arbiter would have been a nice companion champion to put with her. Or maybe Vrask or something would have been better instead, to just put out more healing. I don't know. I feel like maybe Vrask Arbiter would have been better than Gala and Rian. But anyway, you can see it's actually the run. I'm not even going to have to pause the, leave and come back, because the run is basically almost over. Here we have one of the most annoying things which can happen, which is a head eats a champion, and then the Head of Decay puts a shield on them and removes all their debuffs. Head of Decay, you are the worst head. You are officially the worst head. We thought Head of Mischief was the worst head. Head of Decay is the worst head. So you can see everyone's falling over, but we're 8 million damage in. So yeah, honestly, I didn't have much time to optimize this team. I could have done more runs, but I said, why would I bother doing more runs? I've got my 1 key. I've got my maximum chest. I'm good. I'll just leave it at that. And you can see how this run went. So yeah, like Shamael is pretty good, but the rest were struggling. So at the end, when we come through, we can see that Ninja actually doing still really good damage. He did 4 million damage, which isn't bad at all. Again, sort of exploiting the fact that Shamael just turn meter boosts whoever is in the lead, helping Ninja to take more turns. Shamail did pretty good damage as well with 2 million. Norog actually didn't do too badly, especially considering his affinity. He did some okay damage. He was placing block buffs and some damage reduction. Tomb Lord's damage was actually very weak, unfortunately. He wasn't doing much damage, but he was bringing the decreased defense, the decreased attack, which are kind of important. And then, like I said, Rian and Melga, they're definitely a little bit weaker. I was a little bit unimpressed with them this time around. I would have much rather, I think in hindsight, bringing Arbiter and Vrask would have been better. So it's just more direct healing so that it can't be stolen from the Hydra. And then just more speed or turn meter. Either way, this team is still lacking, I think, pretty crucial debuffs or buffs. So we're missing that increased speed. We're missing a decreased speed, all that sort of stuff. So it worked for normal, but really would struggle on higher difficulties. Let me get up the final run, and let's take a look at that. Okay, for the final run here, we're diving in, and this is a team you have seen before. We're back on hard difficulty, and we are running in with, it's the exact same team that I used on my Geomancer video. This is my Geomancer team, and we're going to see how this one does on hard difficulty of the Hydra. Full run this time, so we'll see all the stats at the end and all the rest. As you can see, Geomancer still level 51, Tanix is up to 59. So I wasn't able to max out like all of their masteries and gear and levels and everything this week, but I got them up a good bit more since we did that previous video, which does certainly help. But yeah, in terms of who's in this team, they're all epics and one rare. In the lead, we have Haikatun. She's giving us a speed aura in all battles. Again, I find it very difficult to find good auras for Hydra. I do think that Geomancer could be a good one as well, giving you HP in all battles, but I found that the speed one was a little bit more important for me. So yeah, she's in there for that. She's also giving us increased speed and some turn meter boosting, and she occasionally places some decreased speed as well. But that's about it. That's all she's doing. To the right of her is the MVP, obviously, of this composition. It's Geomancer. So Geomancer is putting HP burn on heads and redirecting damage to them. I actually found that, when you look at this team, we have unreliable decrease attack. Rector Drath, she has it right now. She sometimes places it on the far right head. But we don't have consistent decrease attack AoE. We don't have that. But with Geomancer, because he's giving you that 15% damage reduction, that actually helps you stay alive quite a lot. It actually does a lot of work keeping you alive and redirecting the damage. Yeah, what is there to say? He's phenomenal. And then he also has AoE attacks to put decreased accuracy, which is nice as well. To the very far right, we actually have Tanix Hate Flower, login reward champion. Here she goes right there. Tanix is actually really nice for this. So one of the interesting things, again, I feel like one of the most important debuffs to bring to Hydra is decreased speed. Because number one, the stuff these Hydra heads do is super nasty. Just by itself, they're nasty. And then number two, the ultimate timer on your run is based off of, it's the devour mechanic, right? It's however many turns the Hydra heads take, okay? It's however many turns they take. You can see we're getting very lucky on this run. I've got a one refresh accessory maybe on Geomancer, and it popped a couple of times, so we've been super lucky. So yeah, decreasing the Hydra head speed, it just extends your run because it gives you more time to respond to what they're doing, and it massively increases the number of turns you can take before the Devour mechanic becomes unbearable. So yeah, that's definitely something that's really good, and there's very few champions that actually apply decreased speed in AoE. I've got very few, and some of them are useless for Hydra, so like Dark Aethel and Dark Elhain have it, but I really don't think either of them are good, and they're also both magic affinity, which sucks this week, this month. Yeah, you're mostly looking at legendaries. Well, Tanix comes in and brings it as an epic. She also brings some healing, not much healing, but some healing. She just wasted her decreased speed there on the head that she weak hit. That sucks a bit. She needs to crit to spread it in AoE. But yeah, I actually think she's pretty good, giving you AoE decreased speed and also some nice healing. Vizix is probably the other really accessible option. The issue with Vizix is that she just dies because of her ally protection, so I didn't want to bring that with this team. The person who just went there, left of the middle, is Ugo. Obviously, Ugo, I just did a champion guide on her a couple of days ago. Day ago, maybe? Yeah, Ugo, she's fantastic. I absolutely love Ugo. She's bringing AoE decreased defense, AoE block buffs. She's bringing us some healing. She's placing leech. She's just super good for bringing us those crucial debuffs on the enemy and also helping our team stay alive. She is bad affinity this week, this month, unfortunately, but she's still so good. that it's hard to find someone that could replace her in the team. Like, Norog and Mortu, who were my legendaries that were in the other two teams. I actually think in a lot of ways they're worse than Ugo is for Hydra. I think Ugo's probably better, which is kind of nuts. So there you go. We have Rector Drath then as well, second on the left. Rector is in, she's our reviver, the only revive on the team. She also does just a ton of healing, and she provides Perfect Veil. Not consistently, that she needs to heal people up to max to Perfect Veil, but she provides Perfect Veil, which gives us a way around the true fear that the Fearhead is placing. Then the person who just died is Painkeeper. Painkeeper, she's from my Bat Eater team, my regular Demon Lord Clan Boss team. She's a rare, Void rare. She brings a healing with Spectacular Sweep, and she also brings some cooldown reduction with her A3, which just helps us get back to those core skills on other people faster, like the healing and Perfect Veil from Rector, and the burn from Geomancer. So we're actually up to 10 million already. I'm going to peace out. We'll watch the rest of the run, see how it ends up, and then I'll show you all the builds and gear on all these different champions. So let's go. And well, there you go. Believe it or not, best team this week, best team week 1, did not have a single legendary champion in it. Not a single one. We even had a freaking rare champion in the team, which I find hard to believe, but I mean, it's right there in front of you. You saw the whole run. It is what it is. I find it funny. Like, most people watch the Geomancer video, and 99.9% were extremely happy to see how Geomancer works. There's that 0.1%. There was like 1 or 2 people that were like, "You fucking idiot, Geomancer sucks, you fucking stupid fucking..." And it's like, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can you not see this? But yeah, as you can see, Geomancer, 15.6 million damage. He's done almost all of it. Geomancer's an absolute beast. 1 key on hard is 20.6, maybe? 20.4? It's 20 point something for 1 key on hard. So yeah, Geomancer doing 15.6. In terms of the other surprises, so Tanix's damage is actually not bad. Like, Tanix is up there. I guess the reason that Tanix does actually decent damage is that because she's got a 2-hitting A1, she can hit 2 different targets and proc War Master on both of them. So she actually does okay damage. She's second, actually, believe it or not. As you can see, Tanix is healing. It's something. It's not amazing. It's less than Ugo. It's the same as Painkeeper. I was actually surprised Painkeeper did that much. It's way less than Rector. Rector just pumps out the healing like it's no one's business. But again, the main thing Tanix really brings is that decreased speed, without which this run would be much worse. And yeah, like Haikatoon's done a bit of damage. Not much. She's, just bringing you some increased speed and the speed aura. She's not doing much, but she works for this team. It's really the synergy of the abilities that makes this team work. We have the decreased speed, we have increased speed, Geomancer to do damage, and then we're just surviving what they're throwing at us, and that's how this works, because Geomancer is so powerful. I will have a Geomancer video for Nether Spider. I actually already recorded it. I think I'll bring that out maybe tomorrow, though, so you can look forward to that in the next day or two. It depends how much news there is to cover as well. But yeah, we will see that too. But yeah, kind of nuts, right? Kind of nuts. I will say this is pretty much, I feel like, pretty much the best this team could possibly do. Maybe if you have better gear, you could do more. Or if you've got some clever ideas for who could be slotted in instead of these champions, let me know as well. Even legendary replacements, let me know. I'd like to improve this team even more, but it's such a solid team for hard and normal. But yeah, I mean, Geomancer's the key. You could put Geomancer in any team, he's gonna be beast mode. But yeah, like I said, and you could see in the video, I think the head of Blight just didn't show. It's not the head of Blight. The head of Decay just didn't show up. The cleansing head. When the head of Decay does show up, the head of Decay is gonna wipe you within 1 million damage, probably. He's going to kill you super fast. Same thing with basically every team this week, I feel. The Head of Decay just ruins it. So yeah, it's kind of just roll the dice and pray that the Head of Decay doesn't spawn in. That's sort of my general feel on it. I don't think he spawned in that run, which is why it was such a good run. But we comfortably got the key anyway. What did I actually get in the end? Like I said, my team is not... We've not got... Yeah, we actually did 38.57 million. So we almost doubled what we need, which is 20.4 here on hard. So that's great, right? That's super good. My team doesn't have brutal, right? We're mostly still working on normal. Maybe I should have done another run on normal, actually. Funny enough, if I knew that this team would 1 key, I would have done my other run maybe on normal to help the clan kill it. But yeah, I think most clans are in this sort of scenario. They're in this situation. So I'm not too pushed about joining a clan that's doing Brutal or Nightmare Hydra. So I just don't feel like that's super relevant to most of you. Let me know, though, if you want to know. I might switch clan eventually if that is something you guys want to see. But I really do feel like 99, if not 99.9% of players are doing probably just normal Hydra, if even. And hard is probably too horrible to even contemplate. But here you go. That was a team that can do it. So which champions did we use? So Lydia. Let's take a look at these. In no particular order. I'm just going to go down the list, basically. Lydia is in here. These are her stats. In fact, you know what? Let me actually full screen this so it's easier to see. I don't want you squinting at your monitors. Let's go full screen. Okay. It's not index. Let's go through the builds. So Lydia in there. These are her stats and her masteries. Next up, we had, again, I would have put Arbiter in, but I didn't think of it for some bizarre, I somehow forgot Arbiter existed because I'm an idiot. Ninja, these are Ninja's masteries and Ninja's gear. He's in Relentless, his stats. We had, Brogni is also one I could probably put in. Brogni's booked, so I think he would have been good. Syl wasn't in this week. Lanicus was last week. Sathalia is really good, but I couldn't find a spot for her in the teams. Norog, he was in. Norog is in no particular sets that are special. These are his stats, and these are his masteries. Tataru, Rhymehide. I have a guide on Tataru on the channel, so you can check that out. There's masteries. There are his stats. So you can see more info on him if you wish. Mortu for the block buffs. He's in arena build, Swift Parry, actually. These are his stats right there. And these are his masteries. I actually switched his masteries to work better for Hydra. I switched him out of an arena build into War Master. So he's worse for arena, but still okay. Then we got Tomb Lord. These are his masteries. And for stats, he's actually in Lifesteal. I probably should re-gear him at some point. I just haven't got around to it, but he's fast anyway, and he's got plenty of accuracy. Next up, we have Godseeker Aniri, who I really want to re-gear. She's in regen set, but she has very low health, so it doesn't do too much value. Those are her stats, though, and her masteries. Not quite finished, actually. But yeah, I really want to re-gear her, because she's such a great champion. I feel like I could get more out of her. We had Inquisitor Shamael and 3 sets of Cruel and 2 counterattack accessories, no less. These are his stats and his masteries. So he's got Giant Slayer because of his counterattacks. Can proc Giant Slayer, which is kind of funny. Rian the Conjurer, masteries and stats. Not quite rolled up in all the gear. There's the stats. Too much accuracy. Need to re-gear her at some point as well. Haven't got around to it. Rector Drath, stats and masteries. Again, no particular gear sets. Husk almost made it into a team, but didn't quite. Then we had Ugo. Ugo, we just did a build on a full guide on Ugo. If you want to check out the full guide on Ugo, love Ugo. So check out the full guide on Ugo if you want to see more. Akoth, also the full guide on Akoth on the channel. So Akoth stats and Akoth masteries. Melga was in there. Melga actually could probably be going into War Master. I should probably redo her masteries. I really didn't think about that too much. I could, yeah. Okay, I could do better than that. And these are her stats. That would get more damage out. Oh, well. We have then our friend Haikatoon. These are her stats and her masteries. Then we have Painkeeper. Mastery's not quite finished. Her stats over here. She's just in lots of speed for Bat Eater. Tanix, she's in a retaliation set, so that's a little bit special. Her stats are like so, and her masteries like this. War Master basically on everyone that we can. Aox, again, mastery's pretty standard. Stats, I've re-geared Aox a bit to make him faster, which I think was pretty okay. And then, of course, the main guy, the main man. How could we forget? Oh, crazy eyes. Stats and masteries on the Geomancer. And I think that's everyone. Let me know if I forgot, and I'll cover it in another video in the next couple of days. But I think I covered every champion that we used, I think. But they are the teams. They are the builds. That is how I did this week. Let me know how you did. Any team ideas you have or champions. I think someone left a comment saying Mother Cybele would be fantastic, so she's definitely one to work on. I need to switch her out of the stun set. She's like sort of Faction Wars build. I'm also intrigued to maybe try out Lord Champfort as well, who's a legendary, of course, but he has a decreased speed, a small version, mind you, whenever an enemy attacks him. So that could be kind of nice. And because he shields himself, maybe I could build him high resistance to bait the Mischief Head or something. Something that's worth considering. Of course, Umbral Enchantress coming in with the, the block buffs for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown as Void. Super good as well. But yeah, plenty of options and opportunity. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.